Hey, what's going on, grappling fans? Back again, fourth episode in a row of Who's Number One. Hope everyone's doing fine out there, staying safe. Joining us today, we have a very special guest, none other than ADCC World Champion, Absolute Champion, IBJJF World Champion, Andre Galvao, calling in from San Diego. Thanks for joining us today, Andre. And, of course, our regular
My pleasure.
co-hosts, we have Ricardo Amendolia, Bear from Showy Roll, and my friend Michael Sears here. What's going on, guys? Andre, how you doing out there? How's life?
Oh, life is pretty rough right now, you know. My business is closed, but I keep up the faith. I believe like this is just a wave that we all passing through. Like we gotta be united right now. Just having like a lot of ideas right now, planning stuff, you know. So everything changed, you know. So it's pretty rough, but I'm very positive.
That's great. I noticed that you launched an online training class. Could you tell us a little bit about what you're doing out there? It seems really cool.
Yeah, so I'm doing like classes like every day. I post every day on my Atos BJJ online, and we also like doing like video analysis pretty soon. So you guys will enjoy it. So you're gonna be analyzing your fights and your videos and your training, and we're gonna give her tips. So it's gonna be pretty neat, you know.
Very cool. I've really enjoyed watching how the jiu-jitsu community has reacted to this. You know, obviously it's terrible circumstances, but everyone's getting very creative in the ways they're improving their game, trying to stay on top of things as this progresses. Ricardo, you
Yeah.
and Andre have a long relationship. What do you have any questions for the man? How are things going over there with you?
Everything's going good with me. I got where to begin with Andre, man. It's great to have him on here. I'm looking forward to doing some getting his feedback on some matches later on. But yeah, it's we're in the coronavirus as I like to call it. Unfortunately, we're calling it that, but it's crazy, and it's cool to see Andre doing a lot of stuff online and being able to help out the students worldwide. And yeah, it's great to have him here. It's not so good to have Bear, but all right, we'll make do for today.
Bear, we love you.
Andre, what's going on with your team out there? Is everybody still around, or did people go home? Because I know you have people from all over the globe. Did everybody just waiting it out? What are they doing? What are they up to?
Yeah, right now the gym is closed. We are closed. I'm here at the gym right now.
Yeah.
So I come every day, every morning. I come and record classes, post online, and then after that, sometimes I teach privates. I taught like privates every single day this week, but all the classes are closed. Like we're not opening the gym. Like everybody's like asking like when you're gonna open again. We told everyone that we sent an email last week when we closed the gym on Friday. We told them that we'd be open on the 23rd, Monday, but it seems like we need to have a longer than that. Right now, we're just trying to communicate with the students. We're gonna provide like free super seminars at the gym right now, so people can those students that keep supporting us, during this crazy moment, they'll get a free seminars. But right now, like everyone is trained at home. Sometimes I call them, sometimes I talk with people. Everybody is really aware about what's happening. In the beginning, to be honest with you, I was like underestimating this. I was just like, oh, I don't think this is true. It was kind of like weird. But then, like time passed by, I started like, oh no, this is true. This is real. So we gotta like do our moves, and I'm doing what we need to do. So we close the gym, telling the students to keep safe, keep washing themselves, like keep clean. Try to not train like you train with healthy people. Train at your house. Try to not go like everywhere. So we're just like trying to help the community. And in my academy, we have we had right 600 active students. And today, of course, like a lot of people, they start concerning, and then, they're just like, oh, I don't know, like, please, like, uh, stop my account right now, like people start freaking out. But we're trying to like help them, like, in a way, like after waves stop, we're like coming up with ideas that will help them, and help the school too, because I don't know what's gonna happen. We don't know what's gonna happen. But life is being like very, I'm not saying like stressful, like I feel like that I'm busier than before. Even my gym is closed. I still like busy. Like I still like trying to like uh, brainstorm things, and I try to come up with ideas. And I believe like everyone is doing that right now. Everyone is doing that right now. I see like I never see anyone like I never see so much like online training like all over. So there's a lot of online training now in jiu-jitsu community. Tonight I'll have like a live stream on our YouTube channel, Atos HQ. I'll be teaching class there. I did that on Monday, actually Tuesday, and I'll do another one tonight. So at 6 p.m. for the Americans and 5 p.m. for the Brazilians in Portuguese. And just try to be busy and try to like keep up with the work.
Ricardo, you want to cue up some clips and get this going? Get away from Corona talk and go into something positive. Talk about some jiu-jitsu technique here.
Yeah, let's do it, Andre. Wanted to go through some of your matches that we have here. Hope you don't mind. We looking
Sure.
at this match here with Tex Johnson. You guys
Yeah.
had some exchange earlier on. Just talk us through
Yeah.
this. Tex is obviously known for his leg locks. You stuffed his
Yeah.
takedown here, eventually get on top, and you end up finishing this match with a pretty unique choke that I've never seen you do before. You want to talk us through how you set that up and what happened?
Yeah, of course. Actually, like the way that I finish him, I don't remember right here, right now, but I remember like I got a pretty uh, concern in the time of the fight. Like, I think it was like right when he jumped. Oh, right there is a choke. Okay, I got it. This was a loop choke. The choke that I used since I'm a purple belt. I really like that. I got the loop choke and then I underhook the leg. If you see, like I got the loop choke right there, and then underhook the other side with my free hand. So that way, I force my opponent to turn towards the side of the collar. So that way, like the choke that get tighter. You see, like I'm forcing him to face towards the collar. So that way, like he got choked. So instead of facing this way, he was facing towards the collar. So because I was underhooking his leg. But it was a moment in this fight that I was like, oh my god! Like I remember, like Tax, like he jumped guard, and I lost my balance, and it looks like I slammed him. And I was like, like this could be dangerous, right? But like, thank God, like the referee like interpreted it was a kind of like I got off balance. But like this choke, it's the choke that I use since I'm a purple belt, so it's very, very good.
So you
Are you
hook that leg there
lifting?
with
Are
your
you
with
lift?
your arm to control
Yeah,
his head position.
Yeah, so I got the. You see, like I'm forcing him because if I don't underhook the leg, he's able to turtle, right? So I'm forcing him to. I block him. I block him with the right hand. So I block his left leg, so that way he can turn towards me. So I was forcing to go to the other side, and I use that nogi in the nogi train as well in fights, and I got like more as a chin strap. Of course, it's harder for you to choke in ogi because you need like both hands to choke in ogi, but with the gi you can grab the collar, so it's very, very good.
Nice, nice. What do we got up next, Ricardo?
So next we have a match with you and Alexander Ciccone. You hit a really
Yeah,
nice takedown here. Ciccone's a big guy. Looks like,
yeah,
you're able to get him down. He tried to, kind of counter there. I believe there's a
yeah,
reset, and then you end up taking the back off here and then getting the choke. Just want to hear,
uh,
kind of take us through this match and, maybe a little bit about it.
yeah. Of course. Right now I'm trying to do the crab ride. Uh, Try to come up in a leg drag. I believe I come up. Yes, I come up in a leg drag right there. And then he's able like to escape the hips. But then like I kept holding his collar while he's trying to do the lasso. And then I get smashed. I step over his leg, and then I like to work as a windshield wiper a lot right there in that position. But with my right hand, I'm always controlling the collar. See that I step over the lasso, so that way he's not able to go for a omoplata or something like that. I pretty much like offer him like the leg lock option because I feel like when the opponents start trying to go for a knee bar or a leg lock, uh, he exposes his back or he decide like to be on bottom. So and then I end up like scrambling right there, attacking his back, and then I got my 4 points. In the beginning when I got the takedown, I did like the snap, like the single leg snatch, but like really fast. I really like that, but like right there, right now, On the back, I'm just setting up the choke, and I believe I got the choke right there. One of my favorite chokes, and I believe this is my favorite choke, is a bow and arrow choke. I love to take the back, and I think this is my move, you know. And right there, look, with the left hand, with my left hand, I still holding his collar, so he had a really hard time. Now with my right hand, I'm holding his collar. So every time somebody tries to lasso me, you see that I'm gonna step over his leg. Look, I step over. See, I neutralize the lasso. So now, if he roll, he's not gonna end up in omoplata. So I block him. So instead, he tried to go for the knee bar, but I was ready like to attack the back. As soon as I clear my hand, you see I broke the grip. I pop his grip. Now I'm able to get the back take. And this back take I use against Cyborg as well. So in all my fights, I like to take the back like that. I like to step one leg between the legs, and then I kind of like torque the knee off the guy, force him like to give me the back. And then once I get my first hook, which was my left hook, I go for the scramble, and then I start attacking the back. So the bow and arrow choke, for that choke right there, I like to do it holding both collars. A lot of people, they go for if you guys can go back just for the bow and arrow choke. I like to grab both collars instead of trying to grab the pants. You know, I feel like it's more secure right there. And plus, like I step my leg over his shoulder, my right leg. I step over his arm and shoulder, and instead of locking my legs, I just squeeze my knee. You know, I squeeze my knee, my right knee towards his neck, and I put my knee, my inner thigh over my forearm. So I squeeze my forearm against his neck while I'm pulling the collar. So then the pressure comes from everywhere, and then the guy tap faster. So it's easier to tap the person when you step the leg over.
That snatch single you use in the beginning, that's sort of one of your trademark moves. At what point in your career did you start using that? Because, I mean, it's definitely seems to be your go-to on the feet, right?
Yeah. So, before 2011, I didn't have any wrestling before. Even like when I did MMA, for like many people don't know that I did MMA, but I did MMA from 2008 until 2010. Like for 2 years, I had 7 fights, but I had no wrestling when I was doing MMA. And I think that's key for a jiu-jitsu fighter. If there's any jiu-jitsu fighter that decide to make a transition to MMA, you should do the wrestling. And I didn't have wrestling. I believe with the wrestling that I have nowadays, I could do way better in MMA, way better. But unfortunately, I didn't. I was training in Brazil, and after I moved to the United States, that was when I started training like a really good wrestling here, you know. And I want to give a shout out to my coach Fred Lee. He's amazing. I learned a lot from him since 2013. But in 2011, I did my ADCC camp. That was actually the first time that I focused 100% in doing the camp just for the no-gi for that tournament. Before, I used to train like a lot with the gi, and I just like take off the gi for like 2 weeks and fight ADCC, you know. So that was the first time that I decided to like a really good camp, and I believe the entire jiu-jitsu community saw that. And since that ADCC, a lot of people start training wrestling because they saw that wrestling was really important for ADCC, you know, especially ADCC rules. And then like if you see like all my shots, I don't like to drop my knees on the floor to avoid and prevent like sprawls on top of you, especially when you fight someone heavier than you, such as Sekoni. Like Sekoni is really heavy, is way heavier than me. So if I shoot and put my knees on the floor, he can sprawl and I can be on bottom right there, and then he can get a guillotine or loop chokes or run to the back, you know. So I prefer to shoot with my feet, you know, without dropping my knees on the floor, especially the single leg. And then, of course, after you get the leg, you need to know and understand how to run the pipe, how to knee tap, how to change for a back take. So there's a lot of variations after you grab the leg. But the first thing is grabbing the leg without dropping the knees on the floor.
Yeah, I like that when I used to wrestle when I was a kid, I always liked that takedown too for the same reason. It's sort of low risk, right? Like if you don't get the leg, then you don't end up sprawled down or anything. They're not going to get behind you. You're just still on the feet.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you just sit on the feet, and then it's simple. It's very simple, and I like simple.
Ricardo, you want to introduce us to the next clip?
Yeah, so this one's a little longer. It's it's kind of like a highlight of your last match, of course, the big one with
Yeah,
Felipe Pena. And
yeah,
I think sometimes super fights end up playing like we think, but I was really surprised at how aggressive you came, trying to pull his head down to set up that shot. And you didn't go for
yeah,
it right away. You eventually, shot later on. But talk us through
yeah,
that. You have a long history with Pena. This is your first time fighting him in no gi, and it was
yeah,
an amazing match. You didn't stop from start to finish. So I just wanted to hear
yeah.
your take on the whole fight.
Yeah, so I started like imposing my pace, like I always did. Uh, a lot of people like they say, oh, like this is not like a wrestling uh, hand fight. Of course, this is jujitsu, right? Submission is a little bit different, right? But I have a really strong hand fight for jujitsu. Our posture is a little bit different than the wrestlers, especially in the beginning, there's no points. You're not very concerned about the person like taking you down. But I think, like in my opinion, even like after the fight, after watching, I should wait a little bit more on before I take him down. But like I felt like he was already getting tired, you know, because the pace that I pushed was super aggressive, super hard from the beginning, and like then I took him down, and I felt after taking down, I was fighting on top, and I was like, man, I shouldn't take him down. I should wait a little bit more, because they see the first 10 minutes for the super fight. There's no points. Not that I fight for the points, but you gotta fight smart as well. And Felipe Pena is a high elite athlete. Is a very very strong guard, very good. So um, he was on his game when I took him down. So I should like wait a little bit more, wait for the points, take him down, and then be with the 2 points. But then like because I did that, the fight went to the overtime, and then I took him down again. So I took him down like many times, but of course in ADCC it's super hard for you to score because you gotta hold your opponent for at least like 3 to 5 seconds with the hips on the floor or with the back on the floor. And Felipe was doing a great job, like standing up right after I take him down. He was like scrambling a lot. He's a fighter that likes scramble, right? Um, but the fight was one of the best performances that I ever had in my career. Even like I was older than him. Like I'm like 37. I turned 37 that day. So, but I felt like my cardio, my conditioning, everything was great. I was sharp. I trained really hard for this fight. I think that what makes the difference, at that level, is the amount of training that you put in and also train smart. You see that I'm trying to do like sharp knee cuts. He's doing a really good job like in scrambling, and I'm doing a good job also in like getting out and kicking the legs and spinning around. I'm trying to link in my hands right there, trying to keep like his hips on the floor. But he's doing a really good job. He has like long legs, but he's really flexible. Felipe like moving his legs as you move your arms.
Yeah.
So like people like they have a hard time to put their foot on the chest, right? But I feel like Felipe he does that like really natural, like just like you do this, just like I'm doing this with my hand, he does that with his legs. So it's really really flexible, in that way, with moving the knee, like towards like moving his foot like towards his chest. And he tried me a little bit there, but I felt that he was a little bit more tired than me, during the fight. And thankfully, like everything worked great, and I could like escape from his attacks and trying to trap my legs right there. I was pushing his hips all the time, trying to offer just my shin. The secret of not letting your opponent uh, control your legs is trying to keep his legs away from your hips. And the best way to do that is to maintain offering your opponent just your shin. Don't offer your opponent your thighs or your knees. You see, like every time he was trying to get my thigh, I was pushing his leg down towards my knee. You see, even right there is in an awkward position, but I'm safe because I was offering just my shin. He couldn't trap my thigh, and he's doing a really good job right there, trying to get a nice calf slice. And right there was 5 seconds left, as you can see. I was just waiting for the time. There was nothing I could do right there. Time was over, and then we go to overtime. And then the overtime, I took him out, and I scored the 2 points. It was the first time that my super fight went to an overtime. All the other fights, I did really well against my opponent.
That was the one where
right in
that was the one where you
the
smashed them into the commentating table.
Did we lose Andre there?
Yeah.
Yeah, I still there.
Oh, okay, there we
Froze
are.
a little bit or what?
Yeah, you
Sorry,
good.
yeah.
You good. So, Andre, I was going to ask you.
Sorry.
So this is like a 30-minute match, right? 30 minutes. Was that how long it went?
Yeah, 30 minutes. Yeah.
How much harder do you train your cardio, knowing that you could potentially have to fight for 30 minutes straight, as opposed to like shorter time limits at other events?
Yeah, I think like you also like have you need to understand your body, right? Like a lot of people ask me like how they can improve their cardio, how they can improve their explosion, how they can improve their strength, and to be honest, like each person they work differently, they are different. We all different. That's why our jiu-jitsu is different. No one has the same jiu-jitsu. So some people they have more cardio, some people they have more explosion. It's hard to have everything. But I feel like if you see like for example, overall, I believe like I have a good strength, I have a good cardio, and I still like can be explosive. But there are some guys that are way more explosive than me. Like for example, like Muhammad Ali, he's like really explosive. He's way more explosive than me. Pena is explosive. Lucas Barboza, for example, is super explosive. So. You need to just understand your body, just understand your physical aspect as well in order to do your strategy to fight. But I train really hard, like for this fight, and every time that I'm training for ADCC. To be honest with you guys here, for the last 10 years since I opened my gym, the ADCC times are the only time that I stopped teaching. I stopped like. Being like a professor, let's say. I teach like during the camp. I teach the students during the camp. But it's a time that I focus 100%. I rest, I sleep more. But during the gi season, I need to be there every day teaching and helping the students. Because like for ADCC, we have like a smaller amount of competitors from our gym competing, right? So, and for this last ADCC, we had more people. But usually for the other ADCC, I had only me for the ADCC 2011, let's say. It was just me. And then 2013, then we have like more people. There was me, Hafa, JT, Kino was training here, and also Jimmy. But then like for the other ADCC, we started having more people, right? And it's the tournament that I am, let's say, 100% like mentally, physically, spiritually prepared, all the other tournaments, not that I'm not ready, but it's a little bit harder for me to train because I have so many fighters, so many people that I need to take care of that it's really hard to focus 100%, So I fight all these years in the IBJJF tournaments, not feeling 100% ready, to be honest, especially for the last couple of years. The last year, 2017, I won Worlds. It was the first year Atos won Worlds. But I was there coaching everyone all day, every single day. And on Saturday, they start like having the white belts division, I believe. There was a time that I put like some coaches to coach the fighters. And I went like to sleep, do some massage and rest. And before the tournament, but it's really hard. But for the ACC, I'll prepare 100%. Like I feel great. So, and I train like every day, like 2-3 sessions a day. And right now of course, I'm older and I have more experience, but my body is not like the body like the same way that when I was like 18 years old. Like needs more time to recover. On Wednesdays I take a break. I don't do anything. So I do like a taper in the middle of the week. I taper down, and then I finish it strong again. So you need to pass through a lot of experience, especially for ADCC. The camp is unique. It's different. It's every 2 years. It's very very different than a gi camp. Very different because the rules is completely different. You know, and I like to run on the street, and I always do that for my mind. But for ADCC, I run, I jump rope, I do a lot of circuit training. A lot of drills, a lot of repetition, a lot of sparring. You know, so I think that's what helped me to maintain me at that level.
Andre, one thing that I really enjoyed when we came to Atos at the Road to Worlds was watching how you structured the competition class. You did a lot of positional sparring as well as just straight up rolling. How much of that were you doing for your ADCC camps? Like, very short rounds and wrestling, how dialed in was the training in that respect?
Yeah, the training is, I have everything planned, ahead. I plan everything, even for the gi season, for the no gi season. I have everything planned. And I always try to follow the plan. I stick with the plan. And I need to do that, right? So if I don't, as an athlete, if I don't fulfill the training, you start affecting your mental aspect as well, because you want to be at the top. You want to feel like that, man, I deserve to win. I think that's the most important thing that an athlete needs to have. So I plan everything ahead. And when you guys came here, was pretty much I think was the last month or the last 4 weeks, 3 weeks before.
Yeah, that's right.
And it's the time that I start tapering. I start a lot of people, they do camp 3 weeks before the tournament. They train, normal every day, and then 2 weeks before the tournament, they spar a lot, they kill themselves. And I don't think this is the right way. Okay, so you need to do this way ahead before. And towards close, the last 3 weeks is more explosion, positional. Because if you get hurt 3 weeks before the tournament, you're not going to fight. You're not going to be 100%. So you got to be smart. You got to train hard, but you got to be smart. And thankfully, during all these ADCC training camps, all these Worlds camp, I never had any major injury that made me pull out of the tournament, And also my athletes too, very rare. They train really hard here every single day, but I like to do those positional training where you're already in the situation. You don't need to move too much, but you still need to work in your brain and your mobility, in your agility. So do short rounds, short times. That way you can keep up with the cardio, keep up with the explosion, keep up with the strength, the specific explosion, the specific mentality that you need to, because, if you just, let's say my ADCC super fight is only 40 minutes, right? Not only, but it's a lot.
That's
it's
a long
40
time.
minutes, right? Yeah, it's a 40 minutes. For me, it's only, no, I'm kidding. It's a lot. So it's 40 minutes, but imagine if I spar every day for 40 minutes, 10 rounds of 40. I cannot do 10 rounds of 40. I cannot do 2 rounds of 40, right? So, and you see the way I fought, I changed the pace of the fight so many times, and that's why you need to be prepared to change the pace of the fight, So you start and then you slow down, then you go again. So you got to be able to explode and stop and recover during the entire 40 minutes. And even when you're resting, you're still moving. So, of course, there was some days that I did I simulate the fight. I simulate the tournament. I like to do that, where I did super fights. Me and Lucas fighting for 40 minutes non-stop, right? And it's pretty rough, pretty intense. But that's what we need. Or sometimes a lot of shark tanks as well. But you need to know how to plan that, because if you just do one type of training every single day, repeating that train every day. Let's say, let's do 10 rounds of 8 by 2 minutes break. 10 rounds of 8 by 2 minutes break every single day. So how are you going to improve in your defense? How are you going to improve in your technique? How are you going to improve in your explosion? How are you going to improve in your resistance? You need to put yourself in in an uncomfortable zone. Like everyone wants to be comfortable. People love to sparring because it's very comfortable for them. People love to do like just normal rounds because it's very comfortable for them. But anytime that you need to do like a Shark Tank, you need to do like a 30 seconds goals, you need to do like 30 rounds of 30 seconds, you need to do like all these different type of training. You don't feel comfortable because it's not fun, let's say it's fun, but you need to enjoy like to pass through that process. So if you don't enjoy to pass through that process, you're always going to be comfortable. And the only way for you to overcome that is to overcome yourself mentally.
Would you say that what separates professional jiu-jitsu players and even advanced hobbyists is like the willingness to engage in drills they don't like, to work areas that they're weak on? I'm the same way. I don't want to work my defense escapes and stuff like that. I'm lazy, but I'm a professional athlete, Is that the main difference, would you say?
Yes, I think this is like something that can really help you because let's say if you don't have a really good back take and then you start like attacking there, but then you got to put yourself in the situation that you're defending. But then you have like a guy like Andre Galvao attacking your back. Right?
I'm in trouble then.
Exactly. But you're going to feel like my grips. You're going to feel the way I put pressure. You're going to feel like the way I make the hooks. And you're going to learn. You're going to learn. So that's what people don't understand. They think like they don't need that, because they already know. No, but you never felt, So it's different. Like, let's say if I do a specific training with you and I start on your side control. So you're going to feel the pressure, the shoulder pressure that I put in your face. You're going to feel the way I link my hands. You're going to feel the way I put myself in a way that you can't move much. And then when you go against someone your level, you're going to try to do the same way that I'm doing on you, like a high-level guy is doing on you. So
Man,
I think
really
that's
cool.
the advantage. That's the advantage of having a high elite black belt in your training, because that way you can feel that guy. You can feel the way he works. And some people, they think like, I got to be smashed to learn, No, it's not that. It's not only getting smashed as well, So you got to be able to attack. You got to fight people at the same level too. Because let's say sometimes you have a blue belt that wants to roll back-to-back with me, Lucas, Batista, Jonathan Gracie, Ronaldo, one after other, and then he's not going to have opportunity to attack. So he's going to turn himself in a person that just defends, Like he's just going to wait for the opponent to attack in order to counter. So you're not going to improve. So you need to roll with the high level to feel the high level, to get smashed a little bit. They're like, you got to start thinking about it, man. I'll work on not letting Professor Galvao pass my guard. I'll work on not letting Lucas even go close to me. I'll work on not being swept by this black belt, So that's a good way to train. But then you need to understand that sometimes you're gonna get smashed. But if you smash all the time, you're not gonna get improved. You're not gonna improve. So you gotta work with people that you're able to attack and you're able to fight at the same level too. Because that's what's happening in the tournament too. There's always let's say for a blue belt or a purple belt, let's say you're a purple belt, there's always a purple belt that's always the same level as you, and your fight with that guy is always let's say, even. It's pretty much like you fighting him, and sometimes you win, sometimes you win, sometimes it's a draw, you gotta fight with that guy a lot. But also you gotta be able to fight with a blue belt that that you can attack and work in your situation, in your positions. So I believe when you go for the training, the way you set up the sparring session, 60% of the training, depends of the day, but 60 to 70%, you gotta be able to work your attacks. 40 to 30%, you gotta train with people that that's gonna be pretty rough and tough, But of course, if you're on the black belt level, it's a little different. And if you're every day just rolling with high level black belts back to back all the time, you always, especially in your teammates, your game. You know your game. They know how to. The first day maybe you're gonna win, and then like later on that guy is going to stay with you for a longer time, so he's going to start like learning your game. He's going to start to know how to avoid you to get in your positions. And then the fight is always like you win by one advantage, two advantage, or points. You barely submit the guy, so you need to be able to attack. I say that to my students. I say, man, you're like a lion. The lion, like, is every day like chasing the zebra. Like, he's always like, he's chasing the other animals. So you never see a lion like defending and running. So he's always attacking. So if the lion start running, how is gonna eat? He's not gonna eat. Sometimes he fails in the mission. Sometimes, right? You see like sometimes videos of a lion like trying to grab like a zebra like escape, and run. And he's like, oh, he failed. Like, he's hungry that day, But you gotta understand that you gotta be sharp on hunting. You gotta be sharp on hunting. That's why you drill. And a lot of people don't like to drill. A lot of people, they talk bad things about drilling. They don't like to drill. They like only to sparring. They think drill is not. But you need to know how to drill. And a lot of people don't know how to drill. People think like drilling, like, oh, okay, like my opponent is there, my partner is there on the floor. I'm gonna drill like passing guard, but my teammate is always sloppy and laying down on the floor, and I'm like trying to do like a guard pass, and it's not simulating the fight. You gotta drill in a way that you simulate the fight. You put the same pressure, the same way you're gonna do the fight. You do like when you're drilling. That's why the specific training it's really important because it's you forced to drill live.
So you talked about
Andre.
different drilling methods. Sorry, Mike, but you talked about different drilling methods, and I think that's important, like differentiating not just getting reps, but also like resistance and stuff. Like, can you talk a little bit about that? Like kind of like maybe an example of what you do to kind of develop that.
Yeah, sure. You need to understand, like, when you're drilling, your training partner, he needs to understand what you're drilling, and he needs to recognize the moves too. So he needs to give the exact same resistance or the counter or the way he reacts. He needs to be accordingly like to the way that the opponent will react, right? So when you're doing it, then you can, if your partner doesn't know the position that you're doing, let's say he's a white belt or he's a blue belt, a beginner, and you're like a black belt, you're doing something new. You just like you need to guide that guy to give you a good reaction. I'm not gonna say resistance because if you resist, it's gonna be a fight. That'll be if you put like a lot of resistance in the drills, it's gonna be a specific spark. Let's say I want to improve my bearing bolo. Okay, so I will start in the position and then I'll tell my partner, okay, so try to escape. I'll try to attack you. But you start like with the best grip that you can, and then you go boom. Then you work on that for like 2-3 minute rounds, depends, and then you switch with the other guy on top attacking you. But it's very, very important to know how to react, okay, when you are uke, when you are the guy receiving the drills. And you can say, oh, react on 40%, and the guy will react like 40%, he's going to move a little bit, you're going to keep moving and keep working. I really like to do speed drills, especially for my kids. I believe the speed drills really helps the kids to be aware of what they're drilling. Because sometimes if you teach the kids, for example, they're the future, right? And then you just say, okay, do this technique here, and each person do 2 times back and forth. And then you see the kids like not focused, sloppy, like doing all wrong, and the other kids like with the head on the floor, like with the arms like laying on the mat, while the other kids trying to drill, and the class become a mess. But if you say, okay, so you guys will do this armbar from mount. That's the way you do. Who knows how to do armbar from mount? The kids will raise their hand, and then you say, okay, so I'll put 1 minute. You gotta do how many arm bars do you think you can do in 1 minute? And one kid will raise their hand. They say 60. The other kid say 70. I say, okay, the minimum you're gonna get is 70. Whoever gets 70 will win. And the kids, they love to compete. They go like, wow, really sharp and fast. And they're aware, they're focused, they're not going to be talking. So you just got to know how to, and with adults, it works the same way, you know. You got to know how to make people focus while they're drilling, because not everyone who likes to drill, you know. It's amazing to spar. It's really, really good. But it's like you're learning how to write, you know, you're learning how to put the words together, you're learning how to make a phrase, you know, you're learning how to write a history. So it's the same way, you know, you go little by little, you go like first letter, second letter, and then a word, and then after a word, a phrase, you go, you know, and then you start like writing your book. So it's, the fight is, there's reaction, you got to be ready for each reaction. And you got to try to be an overall good in everything. Because there's a lot of people that just think about guard. But then once they're on top, they don't know what to do. Or they think about like being on top. When they're on bottom, they don't know what to do. And that's like a big issue nowadays in jiu-jitsu, because there's so many techniques, so many positions that, you know, it requires a lot of training in order to be an overall good competitor. You know?
Andre, go ahead.
I wanted to ask, I think it's sort of a perfect time to ask because we just showed you winning the super fight. I think a lot of fans are wondering, are you still planning on Gordon in 2021? Is that match still in your plans?
You know, a lot of people are asking me, right? And my plan was to do the last super fight in 2019, right, against Pena. I announced that way ahead. In 2017, I said that. It was when I retired from the gi, and I said, I'll fight. I even did an interview with Ricardo in Abu Dhabi. We talked about that, and I told everyone, like, 2019 is my last fight. And it was a great way to finish my career. Right now, it's not on my plans, right? But with all this coronavirus wave, the gym shut down. If they change the prices, I don't know, you know, things can happen, right? So not that I fight for the money, you know, but everyone works for a reason, right? When you work really hard, you work for a reason. And financially speaking, that's why you work, to provide to your family, to provide to the generation that's coming, you know, like your grandchildren. And, you know, if you really work hard and you think about that, so if you think about the future, so I always think about that, and I want to provide the best for my family, right? And I believe that we all, as a fighters, like as professionals, we deserve to get a good prize, you know. And this fight is a fight that everyone wants to watch, right? Everyone wants to watch. And I believe the entire community of jiu-jitsu will stop to watch that fight. But on my plans right now, I would say, okay, my wife said, I think you can do it. You know,
Okay.
she's like encouraged me, but my heart, I'm pretty feeling really good right now. You know, I had an amazing career. I lack nothing right now. You know, I thankfully, like, I have people that support me. I have my students here. I have my family, you know, my friends. So I'm really happy for the history that I wrote, you know, as an athlete. Okay, so but it's far right now. You know, it's still far. Like, we have more than a year to think about it. You know, and if I decide to do it, you guys will all know, and we will be there. And victory again.
Hey, Bear, you've been pretty quiet. What do you think about an Andre Galvao Gordon Ryan matchup?
You guys won't shut up. You guys won't let me ask Andre questions. I got like 15, but I can like ask 3, dude.
Yeah.
I have to text them on the side.
Wait.
But I know, Andre, in all
We
seriousness,
just ran out of time. We just ran out of time, Bear. Sorry,
Yeah.
we're done.
I know. But hey, you guys are forgetting, like, Andre was one of the first generation before it came to like social media and internet that like inspired generations with his gym crawls and climbing the rope on Art Suave DVD before like a lot of new kids knew what was
The
inspiring.
ropes.
But like that literally inspired generations. Like just watching the Art
Yeah.
Suave video, and like most new kids don't know that, but like that was a big part of our culture, and to learn from that. So thank you for that, Andre. But in all
Thank
honesty,
you.
the a serious question is like I'm curious on Andre's position on this, just because Andre's been from like Tererés to Braza to form his own super team Atos. Andre, what's your take on the new, like Atos has basically controlled they controlled the team trophy for like, I don't know, you guys killed it for like the last 5 years, whatever the time was, but now it's the new, it seems like Alliance is starting to make their move back up, and like recruiting is getting like more and more popular with jiu-jitsu and all super teams. But what's your take on it? Is that team trophy still a big motivation for you, as not only as an athlete but as the founder of like Autos, to kind of keep on competing against Alliance, since they're making their charge back up with their new programs?
Yeah. So I'm very competitive. I love to compete. I'm very competitive in all aspects, and I believe all the champions they are like that. Professor Fabio Gurgel is very competitive too. That's why he started like working a way that to get that back. Because it feels good to be there. It feels good to be there. But we still working really hard to maintain our team at the top level, and this definitely motivates me still. I love to teach. I love to compete. I love to put people to compete. Right now, my goal is to make world champions. Right, that's my goal right now, and I feel that when I see someone, because like you build a history with your athlete, with your competitor, right? And then when you see everything that the person like passed to get that dream come true, it's unreal. You feel like great. It's a great feeling because you work together and you help someone to achieve something that they're willing to have, right, in life, and that can be a life change. And this is my motivation. My motivation is to not only to compete and win, but also like to help people. And I have so many black belts nowadays. Like our gym like is full of great black belts, great athletes. We have a lot of brown belts too, like good guys, and some of the juveniles are killing as well. A lot of the kids are coming as well. So we still have like a great team. And even like with the things that happened during this year, 2020 started really hard on us, right? We have a couple things that happened in the beginning of the year. We had like when Rafa and Gui decided to leave the team and all that, and now we have this coronavirus going on. We have all these things happening, but we are pretty positive, and my motivation right now is to support and help my students and help like the guys to win. Like the consequence of that, of course, will be winning the title.
Ricardo, you want to go into another clip? We're sort of running low on time. You want to go to Pena Gi match?
Sure. I was just going to say before we get to that, I almost feel like you're in a situation similar to what you mentioned about Fabio Gurgel was, back in the day. And Fabio, Alliance was the world champion team, had some stuff happen, but then they were on the cusp and they were just about there, and then they won back. So I feel like, you being one of the greatest competitors of all time, if not the greatest, you're going to be able to push your team to do the same. So it's pretty cool to see that kind of come full circle. But
it's a process.
I know we're running out of time. Yeah. Sorry,
it's a process. It's a learning process, Yeah, and as a leader, we got to be ready for everything. But the most important thing is for me right now is to be an example, helping them and make sure like they can achieve their goals and their dreams, and I want to see they're growing. That's it.
All right. Well, let's try to go to the last. I think we have another clip or two, if that's cool with you, Andre.
Yeah.
I know,
let's just do the Pena and the Calasans. Let's skip that Brito one.
Okay. So this match here, you've had so many matches with Felipe Pena, man, especially in the gi. They're all super tight. You won some, lost some. Talk through this one a little bit. You got the takedown, and Pena's really good at what I like to call the re-sweep. Like if you take him down, he'll sweep you right back up, and you were able to control him pretty good with a nice takedown here. And he got to your back at one point, didn't score, and you got the win. Tell us a little bit about this match.
Yeah, I remember before this match, I was with Professor Guto Campos, and shout out Guto. I told him, hey, I'm going to take him down right away. But I saw that Felipe was doing a really good job on getting the Kimura trap on everyone in that tournament. And then I say, you know what? I got to surprise him with a takedown that I don't need to hold his leg and stop. So when I go, I need to change the directions. And if you see, when I got the arm drag, I got the arm drag straight to a nice single leg, kind of like a knee tap. And you see that I change directions. If you repeat that, you see that. Look, I got the arm drag, boom. And then I change the leg. See, I drag into one side and I run the pipe to the other side. So because I knew that if I frozen there, he would get all his Kimura trap stuff, and he could end up in a good position. We always talk about the good things that we do in the fight, but one thing that I like to do, winning or lose, I like to think about the mistakes that I had in the fight as well. And one of the great things that I did was, of course, this takedown, and I wrap it up his leg really well. He wrapped it up my leg actually on the 50-50. But afterwards, you see that I wrap it up his leg really well. And you see that I change direction right here. I run straight to his back. And I came back again. So when you fight with Felipe, you can't stop. If you stop, he feels comfortable. And if he feels comfortable, he's gonna go for it, right? So I move the entire fight. So I go for the single leg taking down. Look, I go to the back. And then I change for a leg drag right away to the other side. Boop, you see? So and then I go for the stack. And then right there, he does a really good job with the leg movement that I told you guys that he has, the flexibility. So the mistake that I did in this fight, it was right after we back up, I was winning by 2 points. There was maybe 3 or 4 minutes left. I don't remember right now. I should pull guard. So I allow him to pull guard first. And then he had a chance to sweep me. And I think he was up on the advantage. I don't remember. But I remember he was up in the advantage, I think. And then if he sweep me there, if I got swept, he would score the 2 points and end up probably winning the fight. And at the high level, of course your goal, okay, I want to go for a submission, but if you fight someone like Felipe, it's really hard, to get the submission. So I didn't pull guard. He pulled guard, and then he came up. And it was the time that I was on one hand, holding myself, not letting him take my back or sweeping me. I don't know if you guys have this part on the fight right there, but that's a really crazy moment of my career, because I remember a lot of things was passing my mind, but I was still thinking about okay, so if I give the back to him and then I roll, he's going to score just the advantage. He's not going to score the points. And it's really hard to think like that when you are really tired, especially at the end of the fight. And that's what happened, and I ended up winning the fight by 2 points. It was great.
It's interesting because when you took him down there, even though it's in a gi match at IBJJF, you ended up in almost the same positions as ADCC. They're almost sort of going for 50-50 over the shin, and then he goes for the calf slicer. It's the exact same sequence, just in the gi a couple of years earlier.
Yeah, he does a really good job trapping the leg and bringing the knee towards his shoulder and then start moving the leg. So he's really, really talented, and it's something that is kind of the guy will do on you. If you give a little space, and that's why he's a black belt, right? So it's a difference.
Let's move on to something we really got to hit is your other super fight that we have in our archives. Ricardo, you want to introduce this one?
Yeah, so 2017, obviously in Finland, the big match with Calasans. And, there was a little bit of a question mark because you guys are teammates, you guys are childhood friends.
Yeah.
I was commentating it, and I didn't know how it was going to go, but you guys were going at it, and you hit a lot of takedowns. He was trying to get that arm lock right there. You guys are super aggressive. And I know at one point you guys kind of were having some words there. And I know this match meant a lot to you. So I wanted to hear your feedback on it and, take us through what's going on here.
Yeah, like I was so happy when Calasans won the Open Class in Brazil, 2015. We celebrated together until I was like, oh shoot, I gotta fight him. It was kind of like rough and tough, but it was good. It was the first time ever that then a team closed out, and I think that'll be the only time ever. I think I don't think you're gonna see a team like closing out the super fight again. True ADCC Open Class champion from the same team, and it was like a really good match actually, And Calasans is very dangerous because he's very strategic, so he does a lot of strategy, and strategy, So he's really really good on that, and when I started fight, I started just the way that I always do. I kept up the pace. I knew it would be hard, and I remember like the last that year. In that year, he came here at Atos HQ to do a training camp with us for Worlds in 2017. But then, like afterwards, we talked, and then after that, we didn't talk with each other anymore. Like for the entire camp until the fight was over. And when the fight was over, we started like talking again because we're professionals, and I respect like him and he respect me as well. And not that we didn't talk, like we just avoid to be closer, because we would fight each other, and it's a fight. It's a type of thing that 100% you're gonna fight that person. It's different when you don't know you're gonna fight 100% with that person. Let's say we all here in the tournament, we are from the same weight division, but we don't know who's gonna be the first match, who's gonna be the second match, because the bracket is full of people. But for a super fight, you definitely know who's gonna be your opponent, And we knew we would fight each other, and the fight went really well. Again, I keep up with a good pace. I keep up with the cardio. My cardio training is still good. That means like the plans that I'm making to train, it's really good, So my condition was amazing, the techniques and everything. I score a lot of points. Calasans get tired, he got tired, and right in the first 3 minutes, he started like feeling like more tired than me. And I believe like he put a lot of weight, I think like that was probably his mistake. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think he was too big. And when I started like keep up with the pace, I think like he started like feeling the cardio, But at the end of the fight, we were just talking there. It was more like Calasans was just like, he was asking me like, oh, you won already. You don't need to like keep fighting hard like that, And I just say, man, like, you have strong guillotines. I gotta just watch out, at any time. So that was my only concern. And I remember like sometimes when I was during the training camp, I remember like waking up in the middle of the night, like dreaming with Calasans, like getting me in the guillotine, I was like, oh shoot, take this out of my mind, and then I was like, oh my God, and then I was like, no, I gotta pay attention on that, and that's why I keep focused the entire fight. Even like he was more tired than me, I was like pushing the pace like till the end, because one little mistake you make for a guy that has a really strong and good guillotine like Calasans, it can be over, So, and that's why. And then afterwards we talk, and everything was good, So that's what happened, to be honest. We can hear you, Bear.
Yeah, Bear's talking, but I don't hear Bear talk.
Hey, Andre, sorry, my mic is muted. But Andre, I mean, this fight brings up a really, really good point for like our sport and our culture. And you know this better than anybody as a team leader. But also, you fought basically one of your good friends. And I know from a coach's standpoint and from a team standpoint, closeouts sometimes, if another team's closing out and they're pushing people to the finals, it makes sense for you on your team to push some guys through and closeouts. But what do you think the future of the sport and the culture is of kind of closeouts? And I'm not talking like guys from different teams that kind of all part of the big team. I'm just talking in general as from a fan's perspective, not so much from a coach, a sponsor, just purely as a fan's perspective.
Sure.
to watch fights happen, as opposed to other sports when they don't close out. We can't watch a final fight because they're both on the same team. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, for me, like for this fight especially, because it's every 2 years, right? So I understand that he has his dreams, right? So if I was on his spot, maybe I would think a little bit. Probably he thought a lot about that too. His father was the one that gave me the first gi to train jiu-jitsu, right? To train judo, actually, I started in judo. I started his academy. I started with his father. We were best friends when we were little, playing video games together and everything. And but I understood him. I understood, like, he has his dreams, right? It's just one chance. It's really hard to get on that spot, really hard. And we understand each other, right? Me as a leader, I understood him. You just got to understand. Because maybe I could say, you know what, you can't fight me, I don't think that's the right way. I just leave it open. And if you decide to fight, okay, cool, let's do it. But it was an ADCC super fight. Maybe if it was finals of Worlds, if it was finals of Pens, or finals of other event that is every single year, it could be different. But the closeouts, I passed through not all, but a lot of the generations of jiu-jitsu. So the first, I saw jiu-jitsu in the 90s, and I saw everything happening right there. We, in the Brazilian culture, right, we don't like to fight each other, But I understand also, like, there's different cultures right now in jiu-jitsu, because jiu-jitsu is all over, right? It's all over. And wrestlers, for example, they train together, they fight. Judo fighters, they train together and they fight. But the difference is, in wrestling, you represent a country. In jiu-jitsu, you represent a team. It's different. When you represent a country, it's your country, representing. Let's say, for example, one time I went to train judo. I used to train judo a lot in Brazil, and I went to train judo in the project from the Brazilian national team. And I remember the Brazilian national team was there training, and the French team was there too training, and they're like the strongest judo teams in the world, and they train together. But it wasn't like only one guy from France that went there to train. It was the entire the French commission went to the Brazilian mat to train. They kind of like, the coaches, they kind of like agree with that. Oh, we have our team like train together. Let's do like a training. And the coach wasn't coaching. They're just watching from the outside, and people trying to killing each other, right? But then they will fight in the tournaments. And if they go in the first fight, second fight, third fight, they're not going to bow down. They're not going to close out. They're going to fight hard. But in jiu-jitsu, we represent a team. It's a little bit different. Like, we represent a team. Like, it's Atos is a team that has Australians, has Americans, has Brazilians, has people from all over the world. So I believe that, in my opinion, as a leader, I don't like to see two of my students fighting. I don't like that. It happened before, and a lot of times I let them decide, right? Because they're like mature, especially if they're black belts. Sometimes they decide to flip the coin. Sometimes they decide to rock, paper, scissors. Sometimes they decide to fight, And when I see, there's always like one person that will be happy and the other will be like really sad, It's really tough to see that. And then you as a coach, you're there watching your competitors fighting, and you just like, should I celebrate? Should I be happy because this guy win or not? It's kind of like rough, It's really tough.
And Andre,
but,
I think I understand. I think I understand your position as a coach, and I think I would feel the same way, like running the team, right? I think I'm only asking the question because, like, everyone wants to say, I want to see jiu-jitsu in the Olympics, and I want to see professional athletes get paid like this, but our sport can't even have a finals match if we have closeouts for 5 of the finals, and everyone watching says, hey, we can't watch fights anymore because everybody's teammates. So that's more the question. Like, I totally understand the position.
Hey, Ben, we're going to have to... Guys, we're going to have to cut it there. We're getting kicked out of the studio in 70 seconds. Hey, but let's wrap it up. Hey, Andre, I feel bad because I have so much more I want. As soon as I get out of
You
here,
got a lot
Andre.
of questions.
I know.
Two
I'm going to
things.
hit you up, Andre, and let's set up
2
another
words.
time to do this because I have so many more questions to ask you, man.
It's true, but thank you for breaking down some of those
sorry.
matches. Had a great time with you today. Everyone at home watching, stay safe. I know it's crazy out there, but we're trying to give you as much jiu-jitsu content as possible. We've got more shows lined up every day next week as well. And tomorrow we have Lachlan Giles, so we're having a lot of fun doing these. Bear, Ricardo, thank you guys for calling in as well. And we'll see you guys tomorrow on the next episode of Who's Number One.
Andre, you got 40 seconds. Andre, you have 40 seconds. Give a little message to your fans out there.
All right, sure. Guys, thank you so much for watching, right? Thank you so much, FloGrappling, for this. This thing that you guys doing is amazing. I watched the other ones. Amazing. Thank you so much for everything. Thank you so much, all the coaches. Thank you, Bear, for everything, okay? Out to Bear. Also, I respect you a lot for everything that you've done for the Jiu-Jitsu community. All you guys, Balea, Michael, Casey, all you guys, man, thank you so much. And, I just going to give a shout out to everyone to think, especially the Brazilians, that the coronavirus is something really serious, right? So you guys must protect yourself, right? This thing is going around. It's dangerous, and we want to be safe, and we want to give a good future to our next generations. So we don't want to keep this within the world for a long time. It's up to us right now to protect ourselves. So big shout out to my wife, Angelica Galvao. Big shout out to my daughter, Sarah Galvao. And big shout out to all my family. Thank you so much, guys. And let's go.
Thank you so much, Andre. Let's do it again. Next time,
Thank
let's watch your students' matches next time. Let's watch some kind and
Let's do it.
Yeah. All right.
Let's do it. I'm down.
Thank you,
Thank you,
guys.
Bear.
See you tomorrow.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.